Hi Bigs, happy November. Hope that it's not too cold out for you and you are all staying warm. And I'm excited to talk to you about this month's topic, which is going to be hygiene. So, of course, hygiene means a lot of different things. I feel like I talked a little bit about this back in April, kind of talking about healthy habits. And of course, hygiene is one of those healthy habits, but I think it's also something that a lot of our littles have struggled with. And especially, right, as they kind of go through puberty, they're getting to middle school, high school, like those kind of become big things that exist for them. And really just trying to help support them in that, right? I think it's a friendly reminder here that you are not here to fix things. And I think sometimes hygiene itself is a really sensitive topic for littles because it can be embarrassing. It can feel like you're wrong, or you're dirty, whether it's kind of actually physically or it's just kind of an embarrassing thing to be talking about or to have someone point out. So it's really kind of in the way of being really intentional and just, not it being a wrong thing or like, oh, this is gross. Maybe if you're experiencing something that is gross, but going about it with a gentleness and kind of just a casualness, because it is, I think it can feel very othering for our littles and very just, and or sometimes they're just so unaware of it too. So I think when it comes to hygiene as well, there are of course barriers that exist to, I think, make hygiene a normal and healthy habit, responsibility for our littles. And so I think that's something. So if you feel like it's fully a barrier, whether it's water continues to be shut off at the home, so showering and kind of that cleanliness isn't even an option, that's something you want to loop your MSS in, so that way they can maybe help connect the little's family to resources that can kind of help with that barrier right now. Or it's right, I think also our parents are so often in survival mode that I think the hygiene or like teaching those really kind of healthy habits when it comes to hygiene either aren't accessible when it comes to financial means, because like they can't keep up with buying deodorant and body wash and all body lotion and all those things, or it's just, I think, something that they are so busy with their jobs, because I know a lot of our parents work multiple jobs, or it's a third shift or a combination, and it's extra exhausting for them, that it's how can we kind of help support them in those ways while all this is going on. So if you think it's kind of one of those big barriers, please let your MSS know. If you feel like it's really just this isn't something they've taught, or like a lot of our parents are in the know of this as kind of something that's on our radar and they are working on it, but how can we also help support our littles in it as well? And so I think when this happens, I like to focus on it really being kind of like, oh, what do you do to make yourself feel ready for the day, ready for the week, and just feel like you're presenting yourself in a way that feels good to you. And so I think sometimes that's even talking about when I'm stressed, or when I'm my wind down time at the end of the day, is that including is that a shower? Is that washing your hair, washing your face? Is that trying to almost say it's a time for self-reflection and time for just you to be one-on-one with yourself and just kind of have that break from people and just kind of reset from the day. I think it's something that can kind of be talked about naturally with your littles. I also think that it's just, I know I've had some bigs who will just casually be like, oh, hey, can we stop at the CVS? I need more deodorant. And then while they're there being like, do you like to use deodorant? Because I feel like this really makes me smell good. I feel like maybe I sweat a lot. And having that kind of conversation with them of this is something that makes me feel clean and good, and maybe it's something that will help you. Because I also think sometimes our littles don't even know the options out there or kind of what a routine is when it comes to hygiene. And so I think while of course keeping those natural boundaries in place when it comes to not pushing it, or not you don't have to talk too much about certain topics, but just trying to instill and kind of show them, oh, this is something that I do that really helps me reset for the day. and kind of wake up feeling good. This is what I do in the morning, and just having that conversation so that way they kind of maybe start to understand, like, oh, this is something that my big does, like in kind of that presentation, right? And so I think it's also just important, right, like when you're thinking about that, to not focus too much on the negative aspects of it, like, oh my gosh, like being like, oh, you stink, like, or things too that don't necessarily have anything to do with hygiene. Like, I don't think you necessarily have to talk about shaving your legs, because that really isn't concerned. I think if the little's being bullied for that, I think having a conversation where they feel supported with whatever they want to do and what, you know, parent guardian feels good about, I think is great. But I think really focusing on those kind of just brushing your teeth, taking that time to make yourself feel ready for the day and what it looks like. And I think even you can kind of include your own work if this is something that resonates with you, of like, I have a big presentation, so here's what I do to get ready for it. You know, I do my hair, and I make sure that, like, you know, in my type of career, I have to wear a suit when it's a big important meeting, or that sort of thing. And I think there's that gentle balance too of, I think, helping a child be more aware, but also not making it them so hyper aware of what their looks are. So making it not like about, oh, their acne and hyper fixating on that, because acne is a natural part of growing up. But I think just making it more about, oh, is this something like, you know, that helps you like feel better, helps you get ready for the day, helps you feel like, you know, this was a good break for myself to just kind of have that time. I think it's going to be more positive than, you know, I think trying to leave shame out of it whenever possible. And so I think sometimes it can actually kind of go in there when you're trying to just help someone. But I think trying to create those boundaries of like, hey, this is just kind of what I do and what feels really good to me, and trying to help instill that with your littles. I know that was a lot, that was a long one. There'll be some kind of ideas below for you. But as always, you know, if you have any questions or have thoughts on either that you're struggling with something with your little when it comes to hygiene, or you've done something that has really helped, be sure to let us know so we can share it with the rest of you. Thanks so much. Bye.